Sega Saturn was the first video game console to have an online service, and it was criminally underrated as a console. I had a Sega Saturn and because I collect video game consoles, but one of the things that I found out later on in life was that the Sega Saturn just really never caught on as a console itself, but it had pretty good graphics for the time. It had its online service. It had a lot of features that were really kind of ahead of its time, and nobody really went to it. And it just kind of goes to show you that it's not always the most useful or technologically advanced things that get all the attention. It's a lot of times it's just what's popular. Where's the community? And at that time it was I think PlayStation and Nintendo. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, kudos to Sega for looking towards the future. His first words. I hate Minecraft because it's a blocky pixel game. His last words. Yeah, I don't like Minecraft either. I don't play Minecraft. It is for this exact reason. It's just blocks and pixels. And guys, I'm not saying that if you enjoy Minecraft, that you can't go and enjoy Minecraft. Or by all means, go and enjoy it. My kids love Minecraft. And my cousins love Minecraft, my nieces and nephews, they love Minecraft, and pretty much everyone around me loves Minecraft. Just not so much me. It's just, I do more of the action adventure, and you see a lot of my stuff that I've been uploading is more like Dark Souls and the Hollow Knight and this other stuff. Like, I'm more that kind of game than this kind of build 'em up blocky pixel type game. It's just how it is. When you keep dying in the exact same spot in a game. Yep, I've felt that before. It is one of those unfortunate things that there are some games that are just difficult and you just keep dying in the same spot. My goodness, with Hollow Knight and the Path of Pain, you just keep dying and dying and dying and dying and dying, like just seconds in, you keep dying in the exact same spot. And it takes a lot of technical prowess to be able to do that. But, I mean, there are games that aren't difficult if you want to play games that aren't difficult. It is one of those things that you don't have to play those games if you don't like being stuck in the same spot. Games like that are really for people who enjoy the grind. Like, it's not for everyone. Not everyone enjoys grinding, and it's the unfortunate truth in life. Not everybody has time for the grind. So just find the games that don't kill you off in the same spot, and you'll be fine. You'll keep going. You see, now this one goes exactly with that one. I appreciate games with story easy mode, because as a middle-aged parent, ain't nobody got time for grinding. Yeah, it's true. There are a lot of games where you have to grind if you want to get good. Final Fantasy was one of the first ones that introduced me to the grind. Like, my goodness, you hit it up against some of these late game bosses and you're so underleveled. Like, I did very well in Final Fantasy, so by the time I got to the late game bosses, like, I was very underleveled and I had to sit there and grind for hours to build up my level, not as long as I would have had to had I been further along in my levels, but it is one of those things that it's like people don't have time for the grind. People don't like the grind. And just let people enjoy games. They're for everyone. That's the whole point. Video games are fun, and that's what they're supposed to be. When my little nephew asks if I want to play Mario Kart with him, destroy item. You are about to destroy child. Are you sure? Absolutely, I'm sure. Absolutely, 100%. You've got to teach kids from a very young age that they don't deserve to win. Right? Nobody deserves to win. You earn it. You earn it by losing so many times that you're going gray at the ripe old age of 13. All right? You know, you lose so many times. And that's how you earn your win. so many kids these days, they think that they deserve to win. And that's why you get so much rampant cheating. And that's why you get so much rampant like toxicity in games, because they're like, oh, I deserve to win. I've put so many hours in here. Yeah, but you're not good at it. You put so many hours in and you haven't increased your skill to the point where you're not losing. So I'm sorry, but you don't deserve to win. That's the whole point. The whole point of video games is you earn your win. You earn it. Nobody gives it to you. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. No, you earn it. Sure, you can earn an easy win by playing on easy mode. You can earn a slightly more difficult win by playing on normal mode. But if you really want to play against other players, sorry, other players are going to annihilate you, and they don't care how old you are. So it's better for you to get annihilated at my hand than everyone else's hand and get upset because you think that you earn or you deserve to win. Doesn't have money to fix potholes. Funds in on underwater roads. Well, okay, I'm sorry, but this is actually true to life. Like, I don't know how many times you've been on like New York roads or in Washington, D.C. or anywhere where they have tons of cars and supposedly tons of money. Yeah, they're always funding all sorts of other projects rather than fixing the potholes. Like, it's one of the biggest, most annoying things about living in cities is the fact that they're going to spend money on literally everything that they want and nothing of what their constituents want. Like, pretty much nothing. There are very few things that they're going to spend on the things that you want. Even when I was living in a very, very small town where there were definitely more cows than people, then even then, the road system, like, they didn't sit there and salt the roads when it snowed. They didn't take care of potholes. There were more dirt roads than paved roads, all this other stuff. It is what it is, you know? People don't care about potholes. They care about these big, expensive projects that, in the end, don't actually help anybody. And usually get canceled like 3 years in. He's not even in the right castle. Tee-hee-hee. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The original Mario with the, sorry, your princess is in another castle. Yeah, well, you're going to be in another castle in about 3 seconds. Took me all of 3 hours to get to this castle. So you're going to bring me to the princess at this exact moment. Otherwise, you're going to be figuring it out from about 30,000 feet in the air. But yeah, no. Mario, one of those classic games. Dear Mario, I have baked a cake for you. Anyway, but yeah, it's a good one. It's classic. Like this meme. Not even in the right castle. How I imagine what I want to do. Where I give up. Yes, this exactly. And it hurts all the worse with ADHD when you see exactly in your head what you want to be brought to fruition, and then you get partway in and you just kind of lose that interest. Like, there's not that immediate dopamine. Like, you just kind of wish that you could push a button and all that imagery in your head just comes to fruition, just realizes itself. But yeah, that doesn't happen. If you want to build something like that, you gotta put in the hours. Once again, you know, we talked about this a few times in this video. Not everyone has that kind of time or that kind of patience. And it doesn't really matter, because there are people with that kind of time and that kind of patience who will do stuff like this. So leave it to them. One of the things, you know, I've been trying for a long time to figure out where I wanted my YouTube channel to go before I settled on gaming. And I did a lot of different stuff. Like, I did political commentary, I did scientific deep dives, I did all sorts of other stuff. And it's just not my battle to fight. So I chose the one that I could indeed fight, and that's the video gaming sphere. Why did the chicken cross the road? to end Link. Okay, now I need to correct this because these are not chickens. They're cuckoos. All right? Cuckoos are not chickens, okay? They're kind of like the killer bees of chickens, all right? Are killer bees honeybees? No, they're not honeybees. You can call them both bees, but they're not. Anyway, the killer bees just sit there and do all of the same functions as regular bees, except you get them upset, they swarm you and kill you. Same with cuckoos. They do all the same stuff as chickens, but the moment that you get them upset, they swarm you and kill you. By far, the most overpowered thing in all of this game is, and all of the Legend of Zelda games, are the cuckoos. And I think that there's actually a few games of the Legend of Zelda where you can actually defeat Ganon with cuckoos, and they'll attack Ganon because he attacks them or something like that. Anyway, something to look up. But yeah, definitely cuckoos would indeed cross the road. They would destroy everything. It would be a post-apocalyptic nightmare landscape, all just to end Link because he accidentally rolled onto one of them. People who play games, frazzled. People who develop games, also frazzled. Yeah, I mean, I used to play, I used to build video games. And it's just as difficult to build as it is to play, especially if you're building a difficult video game that then you have to test in order to make sure that it's even playable. And then you not only have to build the game, but you have to play the game that's really difficult and see if everything is working the way it's supposed to. And yeah, it gets kind of crazy. So, but luckily I was never developing really difficult video games. In fact, most of them were just really kind of like simple ones. But yeah, there is a very, very fine line between the development side of video games and the playing side of video games. You both lose sleep, and it's difficult no matter what you do. So, my back hurts so bad today. Me all day. Yeah, does everyone have this type of gaming chair? Like, I had one because my wife bought me one, but I never really purchased that. I have more like an office chair that I use to play my video games, not really that kind of chair. But it's like every single gamer that I've seen has like the red one or like some sort of rendition of this kind of game or this kind of seat. And really kind of weird. Like, what is it about gaming that draws us to this particular type of chair? Like, did we all see some streamers when we were young and we wanted to emulate them and we're like, oh, if we could at least get this chair, then we'd be kind of like our favorite streamer? I don't know. But yeah, we are all that little shrimp or prawn or whatever it is right there that's just breaking our backs because instead of sitting back in the chair like we're supposed to, we lean forward and we focus and we hyper focus on the video game. So this is a friendly reminder. Look at your stance, like look at your posture and try and correct it if you are indeed sitting like this. The media, the huge failure in our education system. The media, video games, the huge failure in our education system. The old switcheroo. Yep, it is indeed. The problem is that it's so easy to blame pretty much anything. You can, if you want to, you can literally find some way to blame literally anything in front of you. Your own shortcomings, they're not your fault, they're the system's fault. The failure in the education system, that's not the education system, that's the video games, that's the laziness and the ADHD from Netflix and computers and all this other stuff. I'm sorry, like you can find whatever you want to push blame onto, and until people actually sit down and truly study these things without like trying to find their own biased answer, then it's always going to be that little push your dollar, just relax, people. Video games are not the cause of all the trouble. A lot of times, if parents are responsible and make sure that they watch what their kids are playing, watch what their kids are doing, then they don't actually have to sit there and worry about video games affecting their mentality. So anyway, just my thoughts on that matter. Me testing, is there fall damage? Yes, there is always fall damage, and it will always catch you by surprise, but you always have to test it. Like, you can't just, I don't know where it came from, this idea that, like, games are not going to have some sort of fall damage. And I guess to a certain extent, there are a lot of games that won't have fall damage, like Sekiro, like the one that I'm playing right now. That one doesn't have fall damage, but for the majority of games, you're gonna have fall damage. They at least put that in there when you yeet yourself off a cliff, like Naruto here. You don't have chakra to cushion your fall. So I would recommend probably not doing that in most games. Just kind of believe that if there are cliffs there and it's some sort of like challenge to get over them, you're probably gonna die if you fall. Anyway, people, all you do is play video games. Also people, sit on the couch and only watch videos. Yeah, what's the difference between playing video games and watching videos? The only difference is that in video games, you actually have some sort of influence over what you're seeing on the screen. Whereas with regular videos, you don't have that kind of influence. You just have to watch whatever somebody put on the screen. And so you don't have any sort of influence on that. It's one of those things that I'm like, okay, I like playing video games, but there are people who enjoy watching sports, who enjoy watching Netflix, who spend all their time doing all that. And I don't sit there and bother them about what they're watching, the sports and stuff like that. It's just something you enjoy. You waste time on it no matter what you do. If you're not actively working on something, you're wasting time. And are you going to waste time doing something you enjoy doing? Or are you going to waste time doing just what you think is an appropriate filler for that time, which might not always be the most fun filler for that time? Just a matter of opinion, folks. Just live and let live. Let me play my video games. I'll let you watch your sports. Me in 1999. These graphics can't get any more realistic. The graphics. That is very true, though. I remember specifically arguing with somebody about the N64 graphics. And I'm like, I don't see why they would ever need to improve. And I'm sorry, but I stand by it nowadays. Like, not so much for the N64 graphics, but for graphics nowadays where you have the smooth shading, where you have the ability to put in the appropriate shaders to get the texture and stuff like that. Like, graphics don't need to improve more than this. Focus on gameplay, focus on story, focus on game size. Like, make a game that is sizable and enjoyable more than worrying about the graphics, which everybody admits is pretty fantastic nowadays. In fact, some of them are so realistic that it's hard to tell the difference between them and an actual video. So I don't see why you would need to improve the graphics much further than that. Like, I still don't see it. Obviously, I'm wrong, but feel free to go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong on that. Why we need better and better graphics. Like, I just don't see the reason for it. Gamers who casually die. Try hard and pro player saying GG even after they lose. Toxic player and hacker saying easy even after they lose. Well, I don't know exactly if I agree with this particular meme, because a lot of gamers who casually die, like, they are pretty upset about it, and a lot of pro players just don't care if they die. Like, pro, you're being paid for what you're doing. Yeah, of course, when you get into esports and you see those people who get up in their face and like yell and scream and all that, of course, those are, but that's kind of more or less the exception, not the rule. And then toxic players, like, again, this goes back to what I was saying before, the people who believe that they deserve the win, that they don't have to earn it. And so they just get really toxic for no reason when there is, like, they just don't win. So yeah, it is what it is, but I would say that any of this group can be any of these, I guess, visuals. Me saves video game. Me, did I save? I better save again, just to be sure. I do this all the time. Like, all the time. You gotta save at least 3 times in order to be sure that you've actually saved. Because if you don't save that 3rd time, then somehow there's gonna be corruption in that save file. And then it's gonna disappear, and it's gonna be like you had never saved, even though you know for a fact that you saved. But it's just not gonna register, it's not gonna count. So definitely save multiple times, 30 or 40, that's kind of the low end. That's where you're the minimum amount of save. But when you save like 50, 60, maybe 90 times, that's the kind of guaranteed that you actually got the save done. So yeah, that's about where that is. You see herobrine, panic. It's just your friend, calm. You realize you're lonely and you have no friends. So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Panic. It was just your imagination. Calm. You get hit. Panic. It was a dumb, stupid skeleton and it killed me. Angry. Yeah, I don't play Minecraft. I know about herobrine, once again, because my kids and everyone else around me plays Minecraft. From what I know, it was just a joke, but it is just that. It's a joke. I don't know how else to say it. Like, this doesn't ring with me, but if it rings with you, yeah, of course I don't have any friends, so that part rings with me, but the whole part about herobrine and all that, nah, it is what it is. Dark Souls and the dragons were no more. Also Dark Souls, Calamite, Sin, Midir, as well. What was his name? Seath. Yeah, Seath the Scaleless. He was Dragon too. That was to introduce ourselves. Yeah, the dragons are not entirely gone. So, and I would find it very hard to think that the dragons could kind of revive from the 3 to 5 dragons that still exist. But they do have a lot of drakes. And there's also, there's a few more, like the Ancient Dragon and the Guardian Dragon and all this other stuff inside Dark Souls 2, which I am almost done with playing, but there's so many different dragons throughout the games. Like, they're not gone, they're just severely limited, and I would be very surprised if they even had the ability to revive their numbers. They're kind of in collapse. So just like when things get in that endangered species list and there's like not enough there to actually sustain the population anymore, it's kind of what the dragons are. So daily uploads Monday through Saturday. Come and join the growing community of gamers who just love the game.